Hi there, it's Diane Sykes. Welcome to this training. I am so glad that you got yourself here and that you are ready to dial in. This is such powerful work. And the cool thing about this training is that not only does it apply to every area of your life, but it's literally yours forever. You can plug it back in at any time. I usually recommend with my high-end clients, they revisit this work every 60 to 90 days. So this is not a one and done experience. This training is going to be something that you plug and play. Anytime you are working on a new goal, you can go through this process. The other thing I'll say is that I'm going to share with you 5 radical steps, and you can actually put these into practice and create a habit around it so that it becomes a part of your operating system. So that anytime you want to level up into a new goal, or you need to make a decision, or you just simply want to eradicate an old thought that doesn't serve you, you can use this as your process. It's so empowering. So at the end of this training, my objective for you is that you will be transformed on a cellular level at the end of this training. And then it's up to you to put it into practice. It's up to you how deeply you want to dive into this work and really encapsulate it, right? Like get it into your bones. That's on you. But I know that these 5 steps have worked wonders for me in my own personal journey and have enabled my clients to not only increase their company revenue by 30%, but take a company public, create massive impact on the world, and really alter their cellular state so they overcome what would have otherwise been a pretty debilitating disease. So powerful, powerful stuff here. Let's dive right in. You are here because you want to get off the hamster wheel of feeling like every time you set a goal, you go into push, hard, hustle, sacrifice mode in order to get it done. And you may have achieved some success in doing that, but at what cost? It has cost you in terms of burnout, in terms of being overwhelmed, in terms of being exhausted, in terms of it costing you a relationship for money, in terms of it costing you money for a relationship. It's always at some cost on some level. It costs you your health overall, is what it really is doing. That's not what living into your highest identity is about. So let's narrow this down. All right. We are going to develop for you 5 best practices as to how you can actually cellularly align yourself toward your goal. Okay, so it's not about the doing, it's not about picking a plan, it's not about saying, hey, I want 6-pack abs, so I'm going to do this diet plan because this is what worked for my friend. I'm going to do this workout program because this is what worked for my neighbor. It's about positioning yourself inside your body with your own physiology to actually wire yourself toward that vision. Okay, let's break it down. Let's get into this. So, step number 1 is first to be extremely clear about your vision. You have to get crystal clear on what your big goal is. So, for the purpose of this training, I want you to pick one goal. Could be, short term or longer term, but just pick one big bucket, big super rockin' goal that you lie awake at night kind of yearning for right now, and maybe even just like desperately hoping for it, and actually in fact you're repelling it, and we'll get into that. So take a minute, you can pause the training and write that down. Okay, you'll probably know because you'll probably feel the pull. You know already, right? Don't overthink this. Like, in your gut the one thing. What's the one thing? Okay, so for the purpose of this training, you're going to pick that one area, you're going to stick with that. And the cool part again is that you can come back and apply this for literally every area of your life, from relationships to health to finances to business to career, whatever it is. You can implement it literally across the board. Okay, so number one, what is the specific goal? Next question. You're going to journal on this. How will you know when you have achieved it? Okay, I work with a lot of clients, and sometimes they wind up achieving a goal, but they didn't really have a clear definition of what it looked like. And so they didn't properly acknowledge it. They didn't celebrate it. And they were just like, okay, on to the next. And that creates burnout, right? When we don't allow ourselves that downtime, I like to think of this in terms of an Olympic athlete, right? They train literally for years to peak their performance. I got a little physiologist talking here. They're going to peak their performance when? For the Olympics, right? So they're training, training, training. They go through a series of very systematic up-leveling adaptations in their training so that it's timed perfectly right where they have a peak in performance during the time of the Olympics. And so for the time of the Olympics, they're in peak performance mode. Their bodies are like perfectly aligned. Their cells are perfectly adapted. They are just at their peak. Boom, climax, right? Now, when the Olympics is over, what do you think they do? Do you think that they just go, okay, I just got the gold medal. I'm going to go home and I'm going to just keep plowing away at my training. What's next? Let me go. Let me just keep at it. Hell no. Why? Because they're at peak. So if they keep pressing after they've hit a climax in their physiological performance, they're going to shut down. Their physical systems are going to start to literally wear on themselves, burn out, create risk for injury, for worse. What do? They usually just take a month off and eat a cheeseburger every day, right? Maybe not that extreme, but they take some time to physiologically put in the rest so that their muscles can restore, repair, and rebuild. Now, here's some magical stuff that takes place when we allow ourselves to repair and restore and rebuild. When we recover our tissue, our cells, right? And this is all about aligning your cells for that goal. When you take some time to celebrate, you don't just recover back to where you were. There's this magical process called supercompensation, which simply means that your body is going, okay, not only am I going to adapt to this load, to this stimulus, but I'm going to grow even stronger. So the next time I'm hit with that load, it ain't nothing. And I can start working on this next achievement. But you got to allow yourself that rest. So that question's really important, right? It speaks volumes. How will you know when you've achieved it? Because when you achieve it and identify it, you need to celebrate, you need to rest, restore, replenish, allow that super compensation to take place, cellular alliance forming for the next goal. Hope that makes sense. The next question, when will you achieve it? So that goes right in line with how will you know when you've achieved it? Well, set a timeline, set a deadline, put a self-imposed deadline there. So it's not just some random arbitrary place in the future. I can't tell you how many times clients come to me and they're like, I want to achieve this. And it's out there in the quanta, in the ether, floating around. Pull it in. If you want to pull it in, call it out and claim a date and own it. All right, don't be afraid to put that out there. Next question. What is the weather like? Here's where we're going to have fun, and I want you to really pause this training and get into fine detail about everything. And I want you to download at least 10 to 15 very specific details around this date when you will achieve this goal, right? So, what is the weather like on that day? Who are you with? What are you wearing? How do you feel? How do you walk? How do you talk? How do you show up as this person that has accomplished that goal? Think of who that person is on that day in fine detail, right? List this all out. The more you can picture it in your mind's eye, the easier it will be for you to activate it within your cells and align for it. Because we want to stimulate all five senses to play into and embody this. And that's part of the next steps I'm going to go over with you. Next piece in this vision Okay, so vision is the number one step. And here's the second piece to writing out your vision. After you've listed all of this out, go back and read it. As you're reading it, take note of how this deep dive writing exercise is making you feel, right? So list out all the emotions it's stirring up for you as you read through this. Do you feel excited, elated, joyful, calm, peaceful, relaxed, expansive, energetic, etc.? Literally write them down. Every emotion that it provokes, write them down because we're going to call on that as we go through the next step. So that's really important. So now you've got your vision done, right? Hopefully you've paused the training and you might spend days thinking about this, right? Getting it on paper and just really examining what it's going to look and feel like when it's done and the date that it's going to happen. Getting excited now. Okay, number 2, awareness, right? You've got your vision and now it's about stepping into being very aware of the thought or thoughts that do not serve you in your highest identity. And what I mean specifically with regard to accomplishing a goal is, what are the thoughts that come up for you that are totally not in alignment with what the vision is, right? You've got the vision that you hold, but then you've got this thought that's maybe in total opposition with you achieving it. And this is the interesting part of the process here, because every single thought you think either aligns with your vision or it doesn't. And if you've ever worked with me before, you know that thoughts are not neutral. And I say this all the time to my clients, right? When you think a thought, it starts a whole rapid fire chain of events, physiologically and emotionally and action wise. You think a thought, and that thought creates an emotion. An emotion is simply just the physical manifestation of that thought, right? Oh, I'm thinking I'm just not good enough. And when you think that thought, you feel bleh, right? Because your body is actually sending signals from the brain, right? You're literally shifting your body chemistry to secrete chemicals that actually give you a physical sensation of ho hum, blah, low energy, low vibe, maybe like a little nauseous kind of a dip in the stomach, like a little tired eye, right? Just one example. It plays out across any emotion. So you have the thought, creates an emotion. The emotion creates this physical manifestation. The physical manifestation of that emotion actually links into a belief system. So the thought you think becomes this emotional experience. The emotional experience creates a belief system. So then you start to believe that this is what's true for you. Your belief system shapes your actions. Every action you take is based on what you believe. And guess what? Your actions create your reality. So you want to change your reality. You want to internally align your cells toward a very specific goal. It starts with the thoughts you think and becoming really aware of every thought that you are thinking and asking yourself, is this matching or in alignment with my big picture goal or not? Does it hold me back? Right? All these thoughts get charged with emotion. Okay. And that physical manifestation is where your cells start to align. So inside your body, they're getting expressed through that series of nervous impulses and hormone secretions. And when a thought is repeated enough, the body learns to adapt and respond pretty effortlessly and efficiently to that thought pattern, right? So in the long run, it actually anticipates the thought. Think about this, right? Like if I just told you to start thinking about homemade Irish soda bread, because I'm thinking about homemade Irish soda bread all the time. A little Kerrygold butter smeared on there. Like you think about it, right? Or anything you like, maybe it's a cupcake, whatever it is. You think about it, and all of a sudden you're like, you start to salivate, right? Or the anticipation of working out. That's a powerful one. You know you're going to do a workout session, you're about to go running, your heart rate actually goes up a little bit in anticipation of that. So the thoughts you think create a very physical experience, and done enough times on repeat, your body becomes really efficient at preparing itself to step into the emotional experience of that thought. Okay. We can actually even become somewhat addicted to that thought process, which is why many people struggle with the challenge of breaking a habit. But that may just be a story that we tell ourselves, and that's definitely a topic for another day that we can totally get into and unpack. But for now, until you have a firm understanding of really like how powerful your body is in igniting this immense power it has, that's where this training is going to go. So now's the time to pause the video, and you're going to do a stream of consciousness writing exercise. Okay, literally, you are going to sit down with your journal, and you are going to bring out those repetitive thoughts that you have that come up that may be so innocuous because you've been running that program almost your whole life. Now's the opportunity to examine it. Like I said, awareness is key here. Pull them out and shine a light on them. Okay, write them all down. You should have pages, right? Take your time on this. Get them all out. I find that with myself, my own journey, my clients, we get to that point where we start repeating. That's probably when we know we've gotten a lot of them out. Expose as many as you can, okay? Then underneath each of those thoughts that don't serve you, you are literally going to write the opposite. Okay, so for example, if the negative thought is, I can't have six-pack abs, I've never done that before. Sound familiar? The opposite would be, I can easily have six-pack abs, right? Simple, simple, simple. You have the thought, literally write the opposite underneath each one, okay? Now, the rest of this training is focused around taking those new thoughts and embedding them into your cells, activating them and embodying them as your new identity. And this is how you literally form new DNA structure. Damn, that's so much personal power. Okay, so look at each of your thoughts. As you read through them, I want you to circle the ones that you feel a deep pull on. Like you will know, it will stir you in your soul as you read the words. You will have, again, some physical symptoms. So a lot of this is about getting in tune with what your physiology does, okay? So you're reading through these new thoughts, not the old ones, the new ones. And one of them is like, oof, it just gives you this sensation of heightened strength, right? Which is kind of like the physical experience of inspiration, okay? Pay attention. Note that, oh, my heart rate went up. Oh, my breathing went. Oh, my stomach flipped a little. My eyes felt like they were dilating. If you have more than one, that's great. Narrow it down to just one for now, one that really stimulates you, okay? Because the next piece of this, so this is step 3, we're moving right through this training, is to embed this thought. What do I mean by that? Well, we think a thought, we think it enough times, we have this emotional manifestation, and then it ultimately becomes our belief system. So if we want to take an old thought that we've been thinking for 30, 40, 50 years, and all of a sudden we're like, I'm going to think a new thought, but you've never thought that thought before. And so what happens is you might just kind of default back to your old programming because it's familiar. Like I said, your body has cellularly aligned itself toward the expectation of that thought creating this emotional experience. And now you're asking to like rewire. And it can all happen super easily and super quickly because we are so highly adaptable. Our cells, our tissue is so malleable. And that's the beauty of this training. But it's all about your ability to embed it quickly. And how do you do that? Because you're going to make this one soul-stirring thought your focus, your theme, your mantra, and you're going to set an intention around it. That thought to which all others are now measured. Okay? You're going to take that thought, pause the training right now. I want you to read it out loud. You're going to ask yourself, does this thought create the feelings that you described when you read your vision from step number 1. That list of emotions you wrote out. See how this is starting to link up? Does this thought generate those feelings? So if you wrote down excited, happy, elated, and now you're reading this thought and it makes you feel that way, guess what you're doing? You're now linking this up with your vision. You're starting to bring this into your reality right now. You don't have to wait till the date that you set when you have that goal come true to feel that feeling. You can call that feeling in right now in this moment. And you're going to set an intention around that mantra. And every time you think that thought, you're going to feel that feel. And you're going to embed that into your cellular structures. And you're going to start to align toward that now. It's super easy, right? Radical, but easy. Again, personal power. Decide to think that new thought often enough, feel those emotions regularly. Guess what happens? You turn that pattern into your success. You call it in and you embed it. Now, step number 4. You ready? Now we're going to activate it. Okay, let's activate them. How do we do that? Lots of ways. I'm going to give you one way. I will walk you through a very simple breathing exercise. And this is literally like taking your breath, because breath activates your cells. That's what it's there for. Bringing in new oxygen, replenishing, renewing, releasing toxins. Okay? That's why we breathe. It's life. It's our life force. You know that. But we're going to take this and we're going to allow the breath to activate our vision. So again, it's all about playing with our physiology so that we use it to empower us to step into our vision right now. And it isn't hard. So here's the exercise. Pulling fresh oxygen in nourishes and bathes your cells in restoration. Oxygen-rich blood then flows through the heart and out to your whole periphery and to all of your organs and literally bathes them. It's like a mini rejuvenation every single time you breathe oxygen in. That's pretty dope. It's crazy biological power, right? And again, this is your life force at work. So get conscious of its power in this mindful breathing technique I'm going to walk you through. So I want you to think the empowering thought right now, okay? And once you start feeling those amazing emotions, start to breathe in. Okay, now as you're breathing in, picture your goal in fine detail, what you're wearing, how you're walking, how you know it's done, what the weather's like. Picture it in your mind's eye. As you breathe in, nourish that vision. Nourish it with oxygen, with strength, with replenishment, with revitalization. And now the exhalation. As you exhale, this is incredibly powerful too. Because yes, it rids the body of toxins, and this is your body's opportunity to make room. So now as you exhale, you are making room. You are surrendering to the knowing that this vision is already a reality. When you exhale, you surrender to the knowing that you breathe back in again. There's no doubt, right? Because that's balance, that's nature, that's life. So exhale and surrender to the knowing that your vision is already a reality. And here's where, again, people get tripped up. Surrender all the hows, the hard, the fears. That's not your job. Okay, it doesn't serve you to worry about how you're going to get it done. You have to allow yourself to be open to receiving. And when you allow yourself to be open to receiving, that's when the aligned action shows up that you know you need to take. Here's what I mean. Okay, this is where people get tripped up. They constantly look for the external fix. Notoriously when it's a fitness goal, but any goal, money goal, it doesn't matter, relationship goal. It's like I said before, I want to try to find the perfect diet, the perfect plan, the perfect gimmick to get those six-pack abs, the perfect workout. The truth is they all work and they all suck. It's just they're not relevant if you have not aligned yourselves in the shape of that success to begin with, right? This is the work, and this is the best work of your life because you can apply it to everything. When you have your biological operating system as your most sacred strategic alliance, then any outside strategy you pick will just be a matter of answering this very simple question, and definitely write this down. Which one feels really good to me? What feels really good? What do I love? That's it. Because that's in alignment with your soul. I like to run. It makes me feel good. I don't go out and say I have to run because if I don't, I'm going to gain 20 pounds, right? I have my goals. I know what I want. I have my vision. I'm calling it in. I know it's done. I know because I know beyond knowing it's done. So what is my only job? My only job is to make sure that I feel amazing, because that creates a cellular frequency that I put out into the universe that will attract amazing frequencies back. So opportunity, possibility, calling in that vision like that, because that's where my vibe is, because I take care of myself. So exhale and just surrender the house. Not your job. Your job is to make sure that you take care of yourselves, that you nourish, nurture, restore, replenish yourself so that you vibe. Literally, I know that's a buzzword, but you literally vibe. Each organ has a frequency, and that frequency taps into the universe. And we're all connected energetically. And that's not woo woo. That's just a little bit of quantum physics and physiology at work, and that is real. Why not use it to your advantage, right? You think a bad thought, and where's it going to lead you? Low vibe. No judgment. It's just simply a choice you get to choose in any moment. And every time you make a choice to think a thought that serves you, you're aligning your cells that way, creating an energy force, creating a life force, and creating a vibe that's going to match you with that possibility and opportunity. You're going to call that vision in like that. Love it. Okay. Last step. Now that you've done this breathing exercise, you can do it anytime, right? Super simple. So the last step is to embody it, right? And you may find that these go a little bit out of order for you. You may find that you're pulled to do embodying work. It's okay. Again, ask yourself, what feels good to me right now? So embodying it, we'll tie it all together, okay? I'm going to teach you basically how to clear your meridians a little bit. Your meridians are basically what kind of holds your life force. It's called qi in traditional Chinese medicine. And we have 12 different meridians, and we're going to focus on your central and your governing meridian. So your central meridian is simply just this line of energy. If you were to imagine your meridians as almost like your nervous system, or even like your circulatory system, like your flow of blood, this is your flow of energy. Your central meridian starts about below the navel and travels up through about where your mouth is. And your governing meridian is that point at your mouth, and it's extending back to your lower back below your kidneys. So it kind of creates this nice circle right around your body. And you can do a lot of energy clearing and healing work. I do a lot of Qigong movement, a lot of energy healing work with my clients, and it is so powerful. It is so connective to the tissue and to the life force of everybody, right? For this training, I'm just going to pull out one that will help you to start to focus on releasing some energy blocks so that you can radiate, like I was saying before, at this new emotional state energetically. Okay, this is how you embody it. You want to reverberate at this frequency, but you have to always be checking to make sure that you don't have a block in your energy flow because of a negative thought, right? Or a leak because you're distracted by somebody else's negative thoughts, which could affect you. So this is what will permeate out into the environment, your high frequency. And that's what you want to embody. And this is the thing with frequencies. They only pick up similar frequencies. So if you're running at an AM dial, you're not going to pick up somebody's FM frequency with an opportunity, right? You've got to match where you want to be. There's the alignment. Embody it. So I'm going to teach you an energy massage. Super simple. You can do it anytime. You can do it seated, standing, doesn't matter. Okay. In Qigong, I believe in the practice of Qigong without rules. Again, it's tapping into the soul, it's tapping into your life force, it's tapping into the sensation of what's going to have you shining at your highest light, what feels truly good to you. Let your soul speak. Let your soul dictate what is happening in your environment. Let your soul navigate through your subconscious, out through your conscious, and out into the world. So, energy massage. You're going to put one hand right below your navel, okay? And you're going to take your other hand and you're literally going to start it at the navel. You're just going to breathe in and pull up, and you're going to trace your central meridian. And you're going to breathe out, let it go, and come up and come out, let it go. And you could do one or two more on that side. You can switch and do the other side. And as you're breathing and tracing and pulling up and following along that central meridian and then releasing, it brings you into an awareness, a centering, a stability, right? And it allows you to come into a calm, into a center. And it literally over time will help you kind of just it's almost like an energy check. That's why they call it an energy massage, because it brings you into this sense of almost a heightened, stimulated place that allows you to tap into your flow or your soul, right? Your soul state. And what's the goal here? The goal here is for you to achieve this big picture vision you hold for yourself without forcing it, without sacrificing for it, without pushing for it. Because now you've actually created cellular structures in your favor for it. So before you even tap into what you need to do, you've aligned for it. So when you do this embodiment and you start to be this and you start to be open, you're going to literally start receiving. Oh, okay, I see this is the action I need to take. Oh, I see that this is the possibility, this is the opportunity. And you start choosing these 3 or 4 aligned actions that make sense. Because now you see, like, well, it's not about, I should eat this and not eat that, because that's what some dietitian told some person and then made a plan out of it. But maybe it is. Maybe it's like, oh, that is actually feeling really good to me. I really feel good nourishing myself in that way. It makes me feel amazing. The goal is, does it make me feel good? Yes, do it. Energy massage around it. Get back to the vision. Pull out the thoughts that don't serve you. Say the opposite. Create a mantra. Set an intention. And breathe life on that. And that's it. You've now just transformed yourself radically for success. And I'm so super grateful and so super proud that you got in and you did this training. There's a worksheet for you to follow along and really tap into this and come back and do this and let it be a habit. Let it be a part of your operating system. That's it. That's all I got.